Are you thinking of buying a condo or a condominium property? Choosing between divided and undivided co-ownership could impact your financing, legal rights, and resale value. Get this wrong, and you might face unexpected costs and restrictions. Let's break it down so you make the best decision for your future. Hi, I'm Aguinaga with Realties in Montreal, and I've helped countless buyers navigate the differences between divided and undivided co-ownership. But somehow, this question keeps coming back. And today, I'm giving you everything you need to know before you make a move. Today, you may have noticed we're filming in the beautiful Atwater Club. I love this place as a wonderful event space, event venue, or gym. Personally, you'll catch me here most mornings getting my workout in or playing some squash or pickleball. Those are some of my favorite activities. This place is absolutely beautiful, and it's one of the oldest squash clubs in all of Montreal. So if you're looking for a new place to get your athletic workout in, feel free to come check it out. The staff is super friendly. They've got an awesome lunch space, and I absolutely love being a member here. Now, let's get back into the divided versus undivided co-ownership race. Let's start off with what is a condo. A condo, very simply, is a property that's owned by multiple people. Now, there's two different types like we're about to show you. We have a divided co-ownership, and when we talk about divided co-ownership, the best thing I have to say about it is that, well, you're gonna be buying the actual unit itself. So whatever that unit is, the four walls that encompass it, you will be the owner of that property. It's going to have its own lot number, and it might have a separate lot number for the garage. You can sell these things individually, but you are truly the owner of this lot with an ownership percentage of the entire building for the hallways, the common areas, all that kind of stuff. Now let's compare this to the undivided co-ownership. In undivided co-ownership, you do not own your unit. You own a percentage of the whole building. I like to explain it as owning a share of the company or of the building as a whole. It might be 50%, 30%, 5%. It depends on how large the building is. Now, why does this matter? Well, you have the exclusive right of use of your unit, but you don't own your unit. You own a percentage of the entire building. This has a couple of differences that we're about to see in financing, in repossession, in renting, and all of that good stuff. So we're about to break that down for you. Let's go over to financing. Financing a divided co-ownership is very simple. You can take it to any bank. You can put as little as 5% down. You really do not have many restrictions on it. When we compare that to the undivided side, you have to put a minimum of 20% down payment, and you can only go to National Bank or Desjardins, depending on which bank already has the mortgage on this building. So very, very different approaches to the same property at the end of the day, and that's why this is a critical difference. This means that when you go sell an undivided co-ownership, you're gonna have a smaller target audience because they require that 20% down. Because of this, undivided properties are typically less expensive because your target market is reduced, obviously. So this is a super important point to consider before you move any further. Now let's look at some of the legal aspects and responsibilities when comparing divided to undivided. Let's start with divided like we have been. So on a divided co-ownership, one of the biggest changes that we see from a legal side is the financials. And when I talk about financials, I mean about the asset management fund and the contingency fund study. What this is that a couple of years ago, the government of Quebec stated that you now need to have your property assessed every 5 years. And when they do this assessment, what they're doing is they want to build a 25-year plan for maintenance. So what this means is that we're gonna say, okay, the roof needs to be done in 15 years. How much is the roof gonna cost to be done in 15 years? Adjusted for inflation. So it might cost, let's say, $50,000 plus inflation adjustment, we might be booking $65,000. Great. When does the structure have to be redone? When do the balconies have to be redone? When does the brick have to be redone? And they look at all the major components of the property to build an effective budget as to when things are gonna have to be redone. Once we do this, again, we adjust for inflation and we figure out how much money we need to be contributing today so that we have enough funds available in 5, 10, 15 years when some of these things are gonna become due. The next big adjustment that we saw from a legal side on the divided co-ownership has to do with the self-insurance fund. A couple of years ago, the government of Quebec said that, hey, a lot of syndicates do not have enough money to cover their insurance deductible. Somebody had to make an insurance claim, there was not enough money to cover the deductible, and all of a sudden, people were scrambling to put together the funds in order to be able to use the insurance. We pay into insurance year after year, but if we don't have the deductible, we're in trouble. So because of that, now the government of Quebec states that we need to have this money in a separate savings account, separate from our contingency, so that we have the funds available to us. These were two major legal changes that we saw on the divided co-ownership front. Now again, like with every kind of co-ownership, you're gonna contribute to the general contingency fund, you're gonna contribute to the maintenance, to the salaries, to the management, to all these standard things. If we shift on over to undivided, well, some of the big differences in undivided on the legal side are the fact that every undivided property pretty well comes with a first right of refusal. This means that if you want to sell your property, you need to offer it to your co-owners or the other owners of the building first, and they have the first right of refusal. Now, don't worry, this doesn't mean that they can undercut you and underoffer, but once you've listed your property for sale and you've received an offer, the other co-owners will have the right to buy the property at the same price that the other offer you received was. Undivided co-ownerships do not have to go through the asset management plan right now. Now again, I suspect this will change. I suspect that this will also be implemented to them because the reality is, whether we like it or not, all of these changes are for the good. They're for the better. They're increasing the condo fees. They're increasing the costs associated to condos today, but it's a forward planning. It's allowing buildings to have a better future. Given the fact that some properties in Montreal are over 100 years old, it's only normal to expect that there's going to be a lot of maintenance down the road and that we're going to have to start putting some money aside today in order to afford these costs. These are some of the primary legal differences between the two co-ownership structures. Now, let's look at some rental differences if you did want to rent out this property. Let's start with divided co-ownership. A divided co-ownership is very easy to rent out. You have no real restrictions. There might be a minimum 12-month rental or minimum 6-month rental, but you can effectively rent out your property, and if then you decide that you want to move back into it, well, the Civil Code has a provision that allows you to repossess the property so that you can occupy it again, or you can take it back so that a parent or a child can move into the property. If we go on to the divided co-ownership side, this is where things get tricky. Because you do not actually own your unit and you own a percentage of the entire building, you lose your right of repossession. This is huge. I mean, critical. I have clients all the time who say, hey LJ, I want to buy this property, but I think I might want to go work abroad in Europe or in the US or wherever for a year. I want to rent it out for that year, and then when I come back, I want to move back in. I say, fantastic. If that's your case, we cannot look at an undivided co-ownership. They're like, whoa, why? I like the fact that it was less expensive. I was kind of into that. I'm like, well, you lose the right of repossession if we go into undivided co-ownerships. So this is a critical point that should not be overlooked and that you have to make sure you understand, and it's a critical consideration if you are considering your property as a rental down the line. For some people, it doesn't matter. They want to move in, they want to live in it, and then when they're done with it, they're simply going to sell it and they'll move on to something else. But you want to make sure you understand what you want to do, what you're considering doing, and make sure this does not impact you. Now let's look at a couple pros and cons for divided versus undivided co-ownership. If you look at the pro side for divided co-ownership, well, the fact that you own your unit, I think, is a huge pro. The fact that you can put as little as 5% down payment, so you have much more financing flexibility, you can go to any institution, is a huge pro for that side. The rental ability, the fact that you can rent it out and still repossess the property later, is a huge pro as well if you're considering investing in this. Now, if we go on to the divided side, some of the pros are, well, they're less expensive. Another pro is that seeing as you don't have the same rental flexibility, there's a good chance it's only going to be occupied by the actual co-owners, which means that if something does have to come up, there's a better chance that you're going to have an easy conversation and that people are more willing to invest because it's their actual principal residence. It's not just an investment that's typically looked at a little bit differently. The final pro for the undivided is that, well, it's something unique to Quebec. It's something that we don't see all over the place. And because of that, there's a couple of restrictions and things that make it special. And some people like to buy into something that's special. Now, the big question, what is best for you? The reality is it depends. Do you want to live there? Do you want to rent it out in the future? Do you care for a lower down payment? Do you care for living with your co-owners? All these questions play a huge role in deciding which one is best for you. And the reality is I can't answer that, only you can. I'm happy to give you the right questions to guide you to make the best decision, but ultimately you know what you want to do with this property and how long you actually want to live there. Did I miss anything? Do you live in a divided co-ownership? Do you live in an undivided co-ownership? Tell me what you love or what you hate about it in the comments down below. If you're enjoying this content, throw a subscribe. And if you're looking for expert guidance, I'm here to help you with all of your real estate needs in the greater Montreal area. All of my contact information, you can find it right below. Feel free to book a meeting with me or just book a call with me. I'm still taking all of these meetings personally, and I can't wait to hear from you, meet with you to help you with all of your real estate goals on this journey. If nothing else, throw me a like. I really appreciate the support, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.